Welcome back, people, to We Talk Boxing. So, this is a pre-fight video in regards to the fight which is taking place this weekend between Dan Azeez versus Thomas Faure. Now, the fight will be taking place in Paris on Saturday, and it's on the undercard of Tony Yoka versus Carlos Takam. Now, before getting into the video, as always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment for more boxing-related content and help us grow this channel even further. So this fight on Saturday night will see the undefeated, British light heavyweight champion, Commonwealth champion, as well as potential European champion Dan Azeez, who is currently 34 years old, challenge, Thomas Faure, for that title. And again, he looks promising. He looks like he's got a lot of potential, for the light heavyweight division. And there's some potential big fights there, for Dan Azeez. If he gets through Thomas Faure on the weekend, he doesn't have to look good. In my eyes, he just has to get out of Paris with the belt intact. So Dan Azeez currently is 18-0 with 12 KOs to his name, whilst Thomas Faure is currently 21 wins in 26 fights, I believe. 26 fights. He's got 4 losses on his record and 1 draw. Now he's got 2 KOs in those 21 wins, and out of his 4 losses, he's had 1 KO loss as well. Quite interesting in regards to the stats. So when looking at Thomas Faure's record, he's had all these fights in Paris, so he hasn't travelled, and looking at his opponents, his opposition, don't recognise any of the names. Obviously, some of you guys out there might recognise or probably know some of the guys that he's fought, but again, to me, a lot of them guys are pretty much unknowns. Whereas Dan Azeez, on the other hand, he's fought against a few people, obviously, that I've heard of, that are known, a few good names. You could probably say, yeah, some of the times that the people that he's fought are potentially, or maybe towards the end of their career. But he's still fought a few people that I know, such as a Jose Burton, Shakan Pitters, Rocky Fielding. They're 3 good names in the light heavyweight division. And obviously, so far, touch wood, obviously he's come through those tests quite convincingly. Do you know what I mean? Especially in his last fight, he knocked out a Rocky Fielding, in 8 rounds. And again, that's a very, very, very good name to have on his record, because Rocky Fielding's been in there with some big names himself, such as like the biggest name of all more, a Canelo. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, like what more can I say? And obviously he's been in there as well, Fielding. He's been in there with a John Ryder as well, and Callum Smith. So some big names that he's fought. So it's a good name to have on his record. So when looking at the comparisons in regards to physical stats, both guys are pretty much similar in age. Both compared to this picture, they're 33 years of age. But I think Azeez has just had his birthday recently. But anyway, near enough similar in age. Both guys started their career, Azeez in 2017, whilst Thomas Faure, in 2013. Azeez has had more KOs to his name in his 18 pro fights. He's had 12 compared to obviously Thomas Faure, who's had, 26 fights but only 2 KOs to his name, which suggests that he's not the biggest of punchers. Obviously, Thomas Faure has had more rounds because obviously he's had less KOs to his name. So, a lot of his fights have potentially gone the distance a lot more compared to Dan Azeez, who's only had 109 rounds as a professional. Do you know what I mean? Therefore, his KO percentage rate is roughly around a 67%, give or take, whilst Thomas Faure's is under 10%. The height, is fairly similar, according to this picture, which I found on the internet. Thomas Faure is 180 centimeters, whilst Azeez is 178. And again, the reach is not much, there's only a couple of centimeters between both guys as well. Both guys are orthodox boxers as well, so again, this should be fairly even in my eyes, in regards to the physical stats. Obviously, Azeez has been the more of an active fighter, so he's fought a lot more regular compared to his opponent, Thomas Faure. And obviously in his last fight against Rocky Fielding, you know what I mean, was a brilliant stoppage win as well. So in regards to where these guys are ranked, you know what I mean, in the light heavyweight division, Dan Azeez is currently ranked number 7 with the IBF, number 7 with the WBO, number 5 with the WBC, number 2 with the WBA, and number 10 in the Ring Magazine ratings as well. So he's ranked very, very, very highly, do you know what I mean, amongst all the governing bodies. Whereas Thomas Faure, you know what I mean, according to BoxRec, sorry, he's been inactive, you know what I mean, which I'm guessing suggests that that's the reason why he hasn't really been ranked. But obviously he's got some sort of clout because he is fighting for the European title, so yeah, he must have some sort of pedigree. So guys, you know what I mean, rather than try and long this video out, I'm going to keep it quite short. Now my prediction for this fight, you know what I mean, I see and I feel that Azeez is going to come out this fight fairly comfortable. I don't know too much about his opponent, Thomas Faure. Haven't seen any footage, you know what I mean, from him or anything. But from what his record suggests and the opposition that he's fought, I don't feel as if it's going to be too much of a problem for Azeez. Especially seeing now, you know what I mean, exactly where he wants to go in his career and the names that he's calling out. So I see this fairly routine, you know what I mean, and I just see it as a fight where he's going to add another title, you know what I mean, to his name. And, you know what I mean, as I said earlier, you know what I mean, he's probably one of the only boxers who, you know what I mean, I've got a lot of respect for because he's done it the hard way. And he's, you know what I mean, he's done it the right way at the same time because he's fought for every single belt which could be won, you know what I mean, under the British Board of Boxing. You know what I mean? And for now, he's going to try and add the European before stepping up to world level. So, yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Azeez. And I hope and I feel as if he is going to come out with, you know what I mean, victor on Saturday. And I think he's going to stop his man. I feel maybe within the first half of the fight, maybe within the first 6 rounds, I feel as if he'll probably get his man out there. But you never know. You know what I mean? Obviously, Azeez is travelling away. He's fighting in France. So, you know what I mean? He's going to have you know what I mean? Thomas Feure's going to have the home crowd on his side. But I don't feel as if that's going to probably phase Azeez too much. You know what I mean? But that's my thoughts anyway, guys. You guys can let me know your thoughts. But hopefully, if he comes through this, Azeez, then there's some big fights out there. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously Craig the Spider Richards, which would be a brilliant fight, and it'd probably be an easy fight for, you know what I mean, to be made realistically as well. And he's obviously been calling out the likes of like Boatsi as well, so that's another potential fight down the line. Even the Lyndon Arthur, because again he challenged what's his name? He challenged Anthony Yard as well. So there's some good fights there for him, but he has to first and foremost come through this fight on Saturday and look half decent if possible. But I think the most important thing is if he gets the win and then he can step up to world level then. But anyway, guys, this is my thoughts in regards to this fight this Saturday night between Dan Azeez and Thomas Faure for the European light heavyweight title. As always, please subscribe and like and comment for more boxing related content. Bless.